Welcome to Ask a Latina. In our Latina Spotlight series, we feature a Latina that has been contributing to our community and an advocate for women by promoting leadership. It is my pleasure to introduce to you Nina Haganess, a host and producer of WDCQ-TV PBS show that's called Somos Hispanos. We are Hispanic. And it's a pleasure to have you here. Thank you, Nina, for being our guest today. It's actually one of the things I wanted to ask you is that when I was being interviewed, well, how long have you been with Somos Hispanos now? Somos Hispanos.
Somos Hispanos, we just completed the first series with them with almost a year. So in September will be the 1-year anniversary that I've been with Somos. So,
wow, time flies.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, that's great. So I had the pleasure of being on the show and being your guest, and that was a lot of fun. And it was really a great experience to be able to see some of your shows too that are posted there. And we actually have a link posted to Ask a Latina if you'd like to see it. So, Nina, you were born in Mexico City. Mm-hmm. What age did you come to the United States, and what were some of the challenges that you faced growing up?
I came to the U.S. when I was 4 years old. So with my mom, we originally came to Michigan. And at that time, I had to start kindergarten.
Oh, yeah.
And not knowing the language. And so I remember still today, I remember walking into the classroom and there's all these kids, and there was this big, tall, blonde teacher, and I remember she had really long, this was in the 80s, so the big hair was in style, and she had these big long nails, and just beautiful blonde lady, and she started speaking to me trying to speak to me in Spanish. She had taken high school Spanish, so she knew very minimal, but she tried to welcome me and try to make me feel like a part of the classroom. But it was a struggle because I didn't know the language. So I remember sitting on the couch in the living room at home with my mom, and we would watch Sesame Street and Reading Rainbow, which was on PBS back then. And that's how I learned English.
How old were you?
We came when I was 4, and so I started picking it up, got into kindergarten at 5, and from there just had to learn it on my own, self-taught.
Well, it's interesting because I can relate to that, because even though I was born here in the United States, I spoke Spanish mostly at home. And same thing, I went to kindergarten, and that's where I learned English, actually. And it's nice to know that at an age that young, you are able to adapt up to 4 languages. So it was the right age for you to go in and to be able to learn, and now you speak it with no accent. Like me. Okay, so who was your role model when you were growing up?
I think my mom. Like I said, we came here, it was just her and I. She's a single mom. Coming to a new country, you don't know the language, you don't know the customs, you don't know the culture, you don't know anybody. And she worked hard, and she somehow made it and got us through everything that we needed to get through. And eventually, she bought her own home, which is a big deal. And she was just someone that I admire and respected, and she's a strong woman. And I think those are qualities that lots of Latinas have. We're strong, and we're fighters.
That's true, we don't give up. So that's great. So your mom being single, what are some of the values that she taught you?
Persist. Don't give up.
That's right.
When one door closes, try a different door. And I saw her living that, and she doesn't give up, and it's kind of funny when we talk within our family. My grandma was the same way too. She in Mexico, they were not a wealthy family. They were very poor, very humble, and you had to persist. You had to find a way to make things work, to make ends meet. And I think those are some of the values that I see in my grandma and I see in my mom, and that I now find myself living and acting, and
you're passing it on to
and then I pass it on, hopefully, to my children.
That's great. That's true. That's really strong, and those are great values to always carry on to your kids. Do you think it's different today for a Latina versus when your mom arrived to this country, as far as challenges we might have?
I think the challenges are the same. You know, you come to a country and you don't know anybody, you don't speak the language, it's different. But I think that there's a different outlook perhaps when someone comes to a new country. There's different resources that are out there for you that you can use. There's different avenues that you can try and follow, and there's people there who can help you because they came in previous generations. So they're there and they know the struggles, and now they're offering that help to the people who are coming new to the country.
It's a country made of immigrants, so we're all helping each other, and that's true. So you studied communications in college, right? Was there a particular area that you focused on?
Yes, I studied international studies and communications, and I did that because I thought international, you know, that's where you need to be. That's where our world is going, global economy, and so that's why I followed that concentration.
Oh, that's great. That's great. And how long did it take you through the college for that?
It's funny. I originally started pursuing a career in the dental field.
Wow.
So polar opposite.
Yeah, no kidding.
Communications, dentistry. I thought I wanted to be in the dental field, and I started taking my first year and a half towards a dental career.
To be a dentist?
To be a dentist.
Wow.
And I got a job at a dental office as an assistant. And I liked it, and it was fun, and the dentists that practiced, they were great. They were a great team. But I thought, I want to do more. I want to be able to reach further out than just, you know, a small practice. And I wanted to kind of change gears, and so that's why I took a little bit longer to finish my degree. It took me 5 years because I started out, you know, the dental path and then completely changed to a communications degree. So it took me a little longer, but
so it was kind of a good experience that you had that opportunity to really kind of decide whether it was something you really wanted to go into. That's really good. That's good. So how did you come to work for Dow Chemical?
I started Dow. It was a career fair that there was open, and they had just open interviews. And I thought, you know, Dow it's a Fortune 50 company.
Yes.
What are the odds? I was thinking, what are the odds? I'm just a small piece of a bigger puzzle. But I went to this job fair, and originally I was applying for a translation position. They needed a translator for Spanish, and I thought, perfect, you know. And then when I went to the interview, the couple of the managers, they looked at my resume and they said, we could use you in a different department. And they kind of surprised me because I wasn't expecting, I was going in there with the mindset of, I want to be a translator. And they suggested a different path, and I ended up getting that job. So,
So what job was that one?
It was for video production. So at the time I'm thinking, nope, these are two different jobs. And at that time I didn't have the video production background. I was coming from a non-video background, and I said, you know, I don't know anything about video production. I should probably stick with this translator job. And the management said, no, you have all the qualities to learn, and you know, you can teach somebody about video production, but to have the the management skills and the time management and just the thought process, they felt that I had that, so they gave me that opportunity, and I got it.
Good. Yeah, because communication when you're in college is a little bit different, right? We're learning, I can't even remember some of the courses, but there's a little bit of advertising in there too.
Marketing.
PR, things like that. So I don't know how much you get into video editing and all that, maybe now today, but we're not sure. But that is almost a different field in a way, you're right.
It is.
So how long have you been with Dow now?
I just had my 6th anniversary.
Wow, congratulations.
Last week, so it's 6 years, and it's been a really great company. I'm happy I work there. They're good.
And for anyone who wonders where Dow is in Midland, Michigan, way up in the north.
Yep, we're up
near
north.
Saginaw. Well, past Saginaw.
Past Saginaw,
Past
Saginaw.
Yeah. So, are there Hispanic employee groups there?
There's the Hispanic Latin Network, and they do engage Hispanics and non-Hispanics because we want to be open and include those who are interested in that. So we're fortunate that we we're a diverse company.
And
they
those
have
groups
that.
actually are there to kind of help advance Latinos in their roles and do different things like that, right? And get involved with the community too.
Yep. They do volunteer work, and you know, they have like a team, and one day they'll say, okay, let's get together for salsa dancing, and then another time let's get together and do something as a team and go out into the community and
that's great.
And get involved.
That's good. I really like that. So tell us what's a typical day, because now actually what's your role today?
Today, it's evolved. I'm now a brand experience manager.
Wow, that's great.
So yeah, it's
so what's a typical day?
A typical
in that
day.
Position now.
There is no typical day, and that's kind of why I like the role, is because no one day is the same as the next.
Right.
There's always a variety. There's always something new. When I walk in the morning, I don't know what my day will turn out to be. But at the end of the day, what foundationally what my role is supposed to do is help manage and keep the brand of Dow. Help our visitors when they come in, and they're either there to visit one of our executives, or they're there as a salesperson, or they're there as a new hire. We want to make sure that they are seeing Dow and the brand and the message that we want to portray as a company. So that is my job, is to make sure that branding wise we're on point, and that everyone's seeing that consistently.
And you have to probably take care of making sure that the brand image is also projected the right way, and the colors and all the other stuff that you need.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, that would be a different one every day. That's for sure. So, what do you feel are some of the challenges for a Latina employee in corporate America?
I'm fortunate that I have worked with Dow for, like I said, 6 years, and we're really about diversity and inclusion. And
that's great.
You've got Latinas, you've got Asian, you've got all sorts of backgrounds, and they do a really good job about promoting and helping you become, in leadership positions. So I can't speak for other corporates because I've never worked in another corporate, but for my particular corporate, I don't think there are challenges per se. I think there's a lot of opportunity and peer-to-peer, and also, your people leaders, they are there to help you and to help grow you, and they want you to succeed. So it's fortunate that they're looking to be more diverse and make it
important. Because they are a global company.
It is,
right?
yeah.
And how many places are they?
We're all over. Right? Yes, we've got, all over Latin America. We've got Brazil, we've got Switzerland, Middle East. We're everywhere. Yeah.
That's really great. So you do see opportunities for Latinas to advance in leadership positions here in the United States?
I think there are. I think you have to work for it. It doesn't come easy.
No.
And, in today's kind of the millennial mindset, I think, you think, I should expect this to happen.
You have to work at it.
And you have to work at it. And you have to work hard. And, I alluded to this before, one door closes, but there might be another opening somewhere else. And you just have to find the right connections, the right networks,
that's right.
The right people, and associate with those people and talk, and not be afraid to say, hey, I need help, or, I have a question about this, and, people are willing to help you and help grow.
That's really important, especially the part as far as raising your hand and saying for help, because I think there's a tendency that sometimes we're too shy to ask those questions, or we feel that I don't know, I know from some of the Latinas I've talked to, they just feel like, it's not really their position to ask, but really you should.
Yeah.
You should take that advantage.
I can't tell you how many times personally, I'll be sitting in a meeting and I'll be listening to the conversation, and I'll think an idea, and I'll think, should I say something? Is it a dumb idea? Should I take a risk and just say it? Or maybe they're going to think it's not a good idea. And so you have that kind of battle internally as a Latina. Do I say something? Do I not say something? And sometimes I just say, go for it.
Yeah. Take the risk.
Yeah, take a risk. Yeah. And then it turns out, hey, that's a good point, and it helps grow or move it along, whatever it is that we're working on.
That's
so
great.
I think it is important to just kind of go out there and try.
I agree. So to our teens that are graduating and they're not sure what field to go into, what are some of the things that you think that they should know before considering the field that you went into to study?
Well,
communications?
I think, you know, communications is, it's so broad. And, you know, back when I was in school, it was, I feel like it was more siloed. You were either a doctor or you were, you know, a mathematician. It was just very in a box. And in today's world, communications is anything. It's huge. There's
now with
social
media.
Yeah, you know, there's an entire degree
Yeah.
dedicated to social media.
Wow.
Who would have thought?
Yeah.
So really, it's just explore your options. There's something out there. You don't have to fit into a box.
Sure.
You know, shadow somebody, get a mentor, and ask the questions. You know, what do you like about your job? What do you like about your career? And I think that will help answer some of those questions. And you know, I had the opportunity to get a job while I was in college in that dental field. And good thing, because I realized it wasn't the path that I wanted to pursue. So if as a, you know, as a teen or as in college, you've got the opportunity to get a part-time job in that field, or an internship, try it out. You know, try it before you buy it. Before you get in too deep, and then you realize.
Get a chance to touch the waters, test the waters a little bit, and see if it's something you really want to do. And sometimes hard to get an internship for some students, but it's. You got to be persistent, or just kind of even volunteer, right? And speaking of volunteering, I understand that you're a volunteer with Somos Hispanos. You're volunteering your time being a host and producer there.
Yes, I do. We have a show every quarter. And I host and produce it, and so aside from my full-time job,
how do you schedule all that?
I do that. You know, that's a juggling. It's a circus act, but it's really it's a pleasure for me to do that, because it's an opportunity for me to show the Hispanic culture, the languages, the stories, and feature people within the community that are doing really great things and putting a positive on our community.
That is important, so people can see, and especially for our youth, you know, to see what the opportunities are, what they could do, and what other people are doing. So since volunteering is important, what are some of the areas that you think, well, how can someone who's out there who's considering volunteering, do you have some suggestions what they should do?
You know,
especially kids, I mean, teens out there, they're just starting out. And they don't really realize that volunteering, they're looking for that job, I know, but I think volunteering is so important.
It is.
As a youth.
It is. It's at the core of, you know, to give back to your community. It's kind of a win-win for you and for the agency or the you know, the nonprofit or whoever you're volunteering for, but you get something out of it and they get something out of it. So finding what you like to do, whether it's, you know, dogs or, you know, feeding the hungry. There's so many different places that want help and that need help.
And I've seen also for even like applying for scholarships, they actually ask those questions. Have you been involved with the community, volunteering? What have you done as far as community work goes? And I think that's probably even important when they get out of college and they see some of the stuff that they've done, you know, because you almost have to have, you might not have the work experience because of Catch-22, but you actually had some experience when you volunteered.
And you can get so many good experiences from volunteering, because you have to work on a team, you have to work with other people with other personalities that you may or may not get along with.
Learn that.
And that's part of the workplace. You're going to end up, you know, working somewhere where you might not like your cube mate, and you have to learn to work together and come to solutions and figure out how to, you know, solve the problem. So I think volunteering is really important.
It is. That's good. Well, are there any other recommendations to our audience in other areas that you'd like to share? You know, because you know, you're a Latina leader in our community and doing so much, and really there might be something else you feel that's really important to let them know.
I think at the end of the day, staying true to who you are and being proud of that. Whether you're Mexican, whether you're Puerto Rican, Dominican, wherever your background comes from, even if you weren't born in that country, because that's a big deal too, is sometimes, oh, well, you're not really, you know, Hispanic because you're second generation, but it's still in you. And so we need to embrace who we are, where we came from, where our ancestors came from, and be proud of that and share that with with the world,
Right.
because we need that right now. We need a lot of positive,
Yes.
and we need to get those positive messages out. So be proud of who you are and don't stop trying.
Oh,
Always keep forward.
That's right. So, well, thank you so much, Nina.
Thank
I
you.
really appreciate you having you here as our guest.
Thank you.
And it's kind of like, we flipped it.
I'm not used to being on this side.
So let's see how you feel being on the other side. But it's been really great having you here, and I really appreciate it. Just giving us a lot of tips. It's really important to our audience, and we hope to have you back again.
Thanks.
So
Yeah,
tell us
thank
more
you very
how things
much.
are going. Well, thank you for being part of our show, and we look forward to seeing you at another episode. God bless.